going down. Tired of myself, tired of this town.
Eminent Waste of Time, episode 46. I'm Doug.
And I'm Chad.
And we've got something a little bit different for you this episode and the next.
We're going to talk intelligently?
No, that'd be a lot different.
Okay.
We're not going to start that. Maybe season 12.
Yeah, we'll try.
But you may have noticed by the time this has come out that there are actually 2 episodes out. 47 will be coming out at the exact same time. That's because we have a lot of audio to share from Heartland Challenge. So originally we had intended on recording this the Wednesday before we left, and then we decided that doesn't make any sense because by the time we talk about MWXC and everything else that happens the previous weekend, record that podcast, it comes out Tuesday, and then the Heartland one doesn't come out till the following Tuesday, a week and a half after the event's already done.
Yeah.
So we didn't record anything last Wednesday. It's now Sunday afternoon. We were at Heartland on Thursday and left Saturday. So we just got back, yesterday afternoon. It's still fresh in our minds. So here's what's happening. This podcast, we're going to talk about MWXC from last weekend because there were some interesting side-by-side events that happened there. And then we're going to bring you live pre-race interviews from Heartland Challenge this past weekend with pretty much all the racers that were there. We skipped a couple because they didn't show up till much later that night.
Well, let's clarify. All the racers that were there that came from the Indiana, Illinois area that kind of were in our group. So not all of the racers.
I was going to skip back to that, but yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Kevin Spangler was not able to make it till what?
3.
Was it 3 in the morning?
Yeah, I think he got there about 3 in the morning.
So we obviously didn't interview him Thursday night. But we just wanted to give you a flavor of what the drivers were thinking and their attitude going into it. So you're going to get the pre-race interviews in this one, number 46, and then in 47, we're going to talk about our pre-race experience, or actually our post-race experience in the Heartland Challenge, and then you're going to get a bunch of post-race interviews. So you kind of get the, here's what we're thinking is going to happen, and then here's what actually happened.
Yeah. So it should make it pretty neat if you watch them or watch or listen back to back. You can kind of, we asked them, what's your strategy going in? And it's basically, how did that pan out for you?
Pretty much. They're going to be a little bit longer than normal as well, because I think we've got at least an hour solid of interviews. So feel free to skip around in these podcasts, or if you want to plow through all the interviews, they'll be there at the end. But the standout feature will be there's a lot less of us talking than normal.
Speaking of which, we need to get to it.
This might be our best podcast ever.
Yeah.
So, MWXC Round 8 Ghost Town Throwdown.
Interesting.
There were things that happened.
So, I'm sure most everyone in the area, and we'll say the Indiana, Illinois area, has seen the video of the Polaris General just spearing into Jason Bannon. He wasn't in his normal Can-Am Maverick. He was in a friend's Polaris Razor.
The moral of the story being, never let your friends race your buggy.
Pretty much. So, no, Jason was getting his Maverick ready for Heartland. So, it wasn't ready, and he didn't want to miss the points for the race. So, anyway, there is...
And I'll put that video in here.
Yeah, you guys should be watching it.
In case you have not seen it, there you go.
Yeah. So, there is major controversy on 2 points on this. Point number 1, did he do it on purpose? Did he drive into the side of Jason Bannon on purpose?
The consensus here at Eminent Performance is most definitely yes, that was intentional.
I came to that conclusion by looking at, there's a couple different videos from both sides of the track, and then someone had posted still shot pictures. His tires never turned.
Yep.
And there was never any brake lights. Now, we're not going to give the driver's name who did it, because we've always kind of taken the high road on all of this. Even when a racer does something wrong, we're not going to call them out and try and demonize them.
Correct.
It's not the right thing to do. Everybody makes mistakes. So, the driver of the General, he did get bumped in just after the first corner and before the hole shot corner, which would have been the second corner. He did get bumped, but he had way more than enough time to hit the brakes, check up, and file in line to make the corner.
He did, and you'll see the videos. You've already seen them at this point, probably. There's some still shots that really show that at the moment of impact, his wheels were straight forward.
Yeah.
I was actually on the line, as I normally am, dismissing rows, and I turned around to see who was going to get the whole shot. So I saw the thing happen live. And after the impact, he stayed on the throttle and climbed Bannon's UTV.
Yeah, and rolled himself.
So, and I remember clear as day thinking, what in the world is going on here? Why is he not backing off?
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, it was a bit of a sketchy type of thing. Again, you can make your own judgments, and there's been a lot of discussion out there already, but nothing about this looks like an accident. And honestly, from several reports and my own, eyewitness and ear witness, if you will, there was not sorry about it, did not feel bad about it.
No, he never apologized. He actually...
Explicatives were thrown.
Yes, and it was just a problem. He was not the most friendly person about it and everything else, and he still... I don't know why he defends what he did, but...
It's not the kind of situation that's good for UTVs at large, though. The sport needs good racers and good competitors, not people who make them think everybody out there is a hooligan.
Yeah.
That's not helping us in the sport that we love. So we're not thrilled about it, but it is what it is. And I don't think we need to belabor that point anymore.
No. So, yeah, the one point was, did he do it on purpose? And the second that kind of people have been going on about after the fact is there's almost some kind of vetting process so that you don't just let anybody out there to do this.
Well, there's not really. The closest I can come to is tech, because it seems to be the most problematic people out there are the ones who don't pass a tech inspection. So,
or who wouldn't pass
or
a tech.
wouldn't pass one if there was one. So they didn't spend money on harnesses, electrical disconnect, fire extinguisher, at least full doors, that kind of stuff. Typically, people who are not willing to put real money into their buggy and have some blood, sweat, and tears involved are the ones who are more prone to causing damage out on the track. And not just this incident, but a lot of incidents I've seen over the past year and a half that I've been on the line almost always involves a racer that is relatively new to the series, kind of showed up out of nowhere, and it looks like they just rolled their farm buggy off and decided to line up and race.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the best answer, but I think it's the closest you can get.
Yeah, because there's no test procedure to put these guys through to see if they can race and everything else. The problem racers that I've seen, it's not the racers that go out there and flip their own buggy or something like that. It's because they have zero respect for anyone else or their equipment out there, and they will just bash and bang into everything. And I fully understand rubbing is racing. And I've had some people, challenge me on this video that you guys have seen and say that that's just rubbing. It's part of racing. That is not.
Yeah, the first hit is where he gets hit.
Where he gets bumped. And
that's part of it.
Yeah. He didn't move at all, really. The machine didn't move when the general got rubbed from the side. He was just beat out to the corner. He didn't want to give up the corner.
Yeah.
And he just full throttle stuck it to the floor, and he was going to bury somebody. He didn't care who at that point.
Yeah. So the first hit you see, the light impact on the general there, that is racing. It's a bump. It happens. It's part of being out there. But spearing somebody at full throttle is not rubbing. I don't care who you are. If you're trying to be funny out there, then you can be funny. But that is not rubbing, and that is not the intention of the sport.
No. And he went right through the whole shot corner banner too. He was not going to make the corner no matter what. And Doug and I had talked about this. What a lot of the new people don't get, and I'm not saying new people like, if you're new it's bad. I'm just saying what a lot of people like this guy doesn't get is that every person we're out there racing with, we're pretty much friends with.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk to each other via Facebook or phone calls or text messages in between races. Before and after the races, we're all hanging out and talking and everything else. I mean, we're all friends. We're talking to each other. I'm not going to go out and try and ram and hurt my friends, and they're not trying to ram and hurt me. Now, if they rub up against it and it takes a little paint or powder coat off, such is life. I'm not concerned about it.
If we got the corner and we don't back off and something happens, then that's what it is. That's part of racing.
Or I get flipped. I mean, I understand, but this incident we're talking about is 100% he speared him. Yeah. He was going to hit someone, and he climbed him after the fact and rolled himself. And Jason, I saw his arm this weekend, and he got scratched up pretty good. He got tore up. It skinned him.
Yeah.
He's calmed down about it now. He was not so calm then. So.
Yeah, it's good that it didn't escalate any further than it did, and it really didn't need to. It wasn't going to help anything. No. So cooler heads prevailed. The rest of the race went on, and Matt Rowell took the crown by quite a bit. I want to say he was 2 minutes and 45 seconds ahead of Eric Palomaki, finished in second. Yeah. So Rowell went out there and just ran a heck of a pace and a heck of a race, and got her done out there at the ghost town.
And Steve Mueller, who we've mentioned many times, he had problems, broken axle, it sheared.
Yeah, he had a new one. We thought we had everything fixed, and we did with the belts and the clutching. Yeah. But now we've developed a new issue.
Yeah, so he sheared the axle right after the spline, like right between the threaded and the spline. It sheared it, and when it did, it let the hub fall out, which messed up the bearing and took all the balls out of the bearing, and it screwed up the hub and screwed up the brakes, and it just took a whole bunch of stuff out.
And this wasn't due to an impact. He didn't clip a tree, nothing like that. He was literally just turning a corner.
And it went, yeah.
So no fault of his, but man, Steve's got some awesome guys backing him, the kind of people you want behind you if you're racing. They had him parts within a day.
Yeah. By Monday, he had it back on all fours. Yeah. And that was a Saturday it broke.
By Monday, he had it back on all fours because he was leaving Thursday morning like we were for a Heartland Challenge. So he did not have time, and he's the kind of person that doesn't want to just put it together. He wants to test. Yeah. So you need some time for all that. But he's got some awesome guys standing behind him, and that was really good to see that there was a quick turnaround there.
Yep. It was really good. So
the rest of the weekend was relatively uneventful. Quads and bikes pretty much went off without a hitch. Ghost Town's a little more of a party atmosphere gives it the wrong kind of connotation, but there's more going on. There's always a live band there.
It's a social event.
It is. Like of all the races, that's the one where you can just go and hang out and there's more stuff happening.
For that reason, and not because I don't like people, but for that reason, I don't enjoy it as much. Because you don't like people. And because I don't like people. But it's everybody's there, and I'm not against people drinking, so don't take this the wrong way. I'm against people being a drunken fool. Yeah. And I mean, if you want to do it, go on, do whatever you want. But I just don't want to be around the drunken fools all the time because they're just problems. They're going to do stupid things. They need babysat, and they're full-grown adults that need babysat by someone, their friends or whatever.
True.
So for that reason, I don't particularly enjoy Ghost Town. I enjoy the property. It looks amazing. I would love to go explore the place sometime, but...
And they were pretty good this time, honestly. I mean, there was definitely drinking happening, but they seemed to kind of confine it to their camp area. Yeah. It wasn't widespread. I don't want to make it, we don't want to misrepresent this and make it sound like it was crazy everywhere, but it's definitely a little bit different atmosphere. And fortunately, for the most part, everything came off without a hitch, and few mishaps for some higher profile riders that things didn't go their way. Johnny Girard on the dirt bikes there lost his rear tire just after his first lap. I mean, tore it like completely off the rim, just gone. Huh. So a few oddball things happened like that, but we just like to think he was faster than his tire.
Yeah, his tire couldn't keep up with him.
Ryan Hart, who's one of the track sweeps out there and just does a ton for the series, had an unfortunate run-in with a tree and basically...
Folded the A-arms.
Yeah, folded up the passenger side front of his machine, and he was thinking about going to Heartland, but that took him out. He couldn't get stuff around in time to make that happen.
Yeah, you have to have a good network of people already set up to...
And this was a race buggy that had some aftermarket stuff that he wasn't sure about, so he wasn't even positive what parts he needed to order yet, because he's still kind of new to this machine.
Yeah, he's only had it since like round 2 this year, 3?
Yeah, I think it was round 3.
Yeah.
So, but no, I don't remember there was one injury where a guy was carted off to the hospital, but it wasn't a life-threatening, like get the helicopter out here type of thing.
We didn't have to airlift anybody. Things are a good weekend.
That's a good weekend. So overall, good weekend, lots of fun out there, and that may be the last time we're out there. The owner is talking about possibly selling the property.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Part of me would miss it. Part of me will not. Not for the party aspect. It's a neat property because, like we've talked about before, it was an old tuberculosis treatment center, and then it was an insane asylum and all this stuff. And there's all these neat old buildings and everything. But to be real honest, as far as like a racer looking at it, it's too small for the series.
Yeah, and parking's always problematic because none of it's flat. It's beautiful property, but there's very few wide, flat areas where you can just have a bunch of people pull in. There's a bunch of trees.
There's buildings scattered about. I mean,
it's always interesting. Even me trying to get to the line, I have to kind of plan my trips where I need to be to the line early because it's going to take me 5 minutes to go a half a mile.
Yeah. So part of me will be, like I said, sad to see it go if it does go, and that's the last one. And part of me will be, good riddance. We'll find a bigger property to run.
It means we might have a chance to race out at Fallen Rock again. That's the other one he owns.
Yeah.
And that's 320 acres.
Yeah, then that's great.
That is an awesome, awesome property. So maybe we have that opportunity.
And I'll touch on this real quick because I guess probably a lot of people don't understand unless you're involved in a race series how much acreage it actually takes to run.
Your 40 acres is not enough.
No. You realistically need about 150 acres. And I don't mean 150 acres includes houses on it or anything. I mean 150 open field and wooded acres that are available to run on.
Yeah, because the properties we run where they're only about 100 acres are incredibly tight for a series our size. I mean, if you're running a smaller series, 200-300 people, you could probably get by with 100.
Yeah.
But for the size that most of these Midwestern, like IXCR, MWXC, those sizes that the series have gotten to, yeah, you're looking at $150 easy.
Yeah. And really to have a good size, and the problem is even on 150 acres, a side-by-side track is normally going to be short.
Yeah, maybe 3
miles.
to 4.
Yeah, something like around 3 miles. Really up around 200 to 300 acres is pretty good then. You can get a decent track out of it. And that sounds like a ton. When you're running these things fast, it's not that much.
It gets small real fast.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the 2018, or I should say the 2019 season holds. And I think Andy's actually working on some other new properties. Crazy Man's Hideout, the previous one, was a brand new property. We're hoping to go back there, but might be some other ones in the works as well.
Yep. That'll be neat.
Well, we're at this point going to kick it over to the interviews. We've taken up enough of your time, and like I said, this podcast is going to run a little bit longer, but I think the interviews are great. They give you an insight into the racers in these local series and kind of their attitudes and preparation for going into a 4-hour endurance race. And honestly, we just really, really appreciate the heart and the attitude of these local racers. They're not a Kyle Cheney. They don't have instant name recognition in the UTV community. They're out there just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
And so it's absolutely our pleasure to be able to give them a spotlight for a change.
Yep.
But before we do that, we do need to thank our sponsors, of course, Watch Communications for hosting the podcast and our website. Also got TGM Off-Road, UTV-Doors.com, UTV Engineering, Spangs Fab, CW Motorsports, and Harrison Power Sports. I knew I was forgetting one there.
Yep.
You can find us on the web at our website, eminentperformance.com. You can find us on Instagram at Eminent Racing, Facebook /Eminent Racing, and you can find the podcast on Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and on our YouTube channel, which is just Eminent Performance.
Yep. So once you guys are done listening to this set of pre-race interview, don't forget to go to the next podcast that'll be coming out the exact same time to check out the post-race stuff and our experience.
Exactly. All right. We'll catch you guys later.
Thanks, guys.
Well, we made it out here to the Heartland Challenge, and the sun is setting. It's getting a little dark. You can see the lights right in our face. We had to get some kind of light to make sure we could record this, but want to get a few drivers' interviews in tonight before we go off and away tomorrow, because the race isn't until 7 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
But things are going to get busy tomorrow, and there'll be a lot of things happening. And they'll be racing right beside us. And
Yep. We are nosed up and tailed to the track, so they're going to go in front and behind us.
yeah, so it's going to be an interesting day. But we're here with Old Green number 36, Mike Plank, the indestructible 800.
We hope so.
So how was prep for this whole thing? What did you do anything special, or did you just try and keep it simple? And
I washed it.
there you
That's
go.
new.
Added
That's
a little
new.
bit to the roll cage
Yeah.
so we can be safe.
Well, it's been working for you so far, so there's
Yes.
really not a ton that you probably want to mess with. The formula's there.
That is right. Keep it simple.
So in terms of a 4-hour race, you ever done anything this long before? Or?
Besides trail riding, no. So this is a new experience altogether.
Do you have a strategy going into it?
No.
No. I like your plan. That's my kind of plan.
Try to take it easy and not get overconfident, I guess.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of hard, I think, because in your head you're thinking, I'm in a race, I
Yes.
need to go, but you've got to make it last.
Yes, we know how to run for an hour, and that's about it.
You need to quadruple that, and then you're okay.
So if you drive at 25% of your normal speed.
We probably wouldn't even be moving because it's pretty slow.
I did have to laugh last week at MWXC when you saw the lights take off. You're asking her, does it always look that slow when
Yes.
we take off? I'm like,
I
yeah.
didn't realize it was that slow until actually watching it.
You do feel like you're flying. But
It seems a lot faster.
Yeah. But you're really not, are you?
No.
It looks that way in the thousands and the turbos, too. You think, we are just really moving. Then you watch it from the outside. It's like, we're not going all that fast. Who slowed the video down?
Yes. But, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed I didn't make that one because
But that's probably the more intelligent move to make. I mean,
Yeah.
several guys have done it where you don't race the one that you can take a drop in so that you can save for the big one that is
Yes.
this week.
and anything could have happened out there. I mean, it's
yeah, there's a lot of them that didn't finish. I'd say, 8 maybe?
yeah.
Out
And
of 25?
some of it was on the track, and some of it was other driver error. We'll put it that way. But
Yes.
But no, it's gonna be interesting. I'm actually co-driving with you tomorrow,
Yes.
so we'll see.
Glad to have you.
Oh, my pleasure, man.
Actually, you may be driving.
well,
Are you, Douglas, do you have a strategy?
I'm gonna keep it out of the trees and
Good.
off of the hard bits, and
Yes. Try to keep all wheels on it.
yeah, that's the whole plan. Actually, I've been kind of thinking about that, and really, I think my strategy is going to be: you're definitely a faster driver than I am. When I'm behind the wheel, I'm going to just try and maintain. I might even lose a little bit of ground, not a ton, but I'm just going to go at a pace that keeps us in the race. And when we swap back, if we need to make up any time, I'm confident you can. But I'm just going to try and keep it together and not drive above my head
Yes.
or anything along those lines.
Me too. I'm going to just try to pace myself, and hopefully it don't get above me.
So you've
Pretty
been out
much.
there on the track. So I mean, you've actually seen
A few
some of the.
pieces,
anyway.
I mean, they don't have it all arrowed out yet. It doesn't seem
No,
like.
really wasn't happy about the enduro part or the rocks by the finish line. They're just huge rocks that you almost need a rock crawler for.
Hopefully they'll chuck some dirt in there.
I hope so.
Yeah, because that doesn't really seem conducive to just running a race.
The actual endurance part of it wasn't, or enduro part of it wasn't that bad. The finish line was just horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like an odd decision on their part to run it that
you
way.
almost need like 18 inches of ground clearance to not touch anything.
Yeah, that's not any fun when it's like that. So let's hope they put some dirt in there and get it to where it's a good usable track. I mean, I want it to be something where you have to slow down in there and crawl a little bit,
Yes.
but not something where it's just destroying things.
Yes, it don't look nothing like the videos I watched from last year where it seemed almost smooth across it.
Yeah.
It was just chunks of concrete.
Yeah. Well, they still have a full, but basically 24 hours
Yeah.
from when you saw it to when the race starts. So hopefully, I know they're still working on the track, so hopefully that's part of their track prep
Yeah,
that
we
they're
actually
doing.
was going to walk the track this evening, but they don't have no arrows up.
Yep.
So
That could be interesting tomorrow if it stays that way. Just kind of your own interpretation. It'd be like any other race.
well, we're kind of wondering, like, we just run around the field for 15 minutes, then come across the finish line, or what?
Yeah.
So hopefully they get it marked early enough. We can get out there, and seems I think somebody said it was like 9 miles long.
Yeah.
So it's a long walk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this is your first
My first
race
time
here.
up here.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to it. Something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I just hope we finish.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in first, but just really finish.
That's my goal. I think if we can survive the 4 hours, I'm considering that a win. I mean, being on the podium is always nice, but just keeping her together and running a full race is an accomplishment in and of itself. And we're seeing a lot of X3s and other machines pull in here. A lot of X3s. I expect that's going to be them.
It's going to be very interesting. I wish I could actually stand out there and watch them take off.
Yeah. There's part of me that, I mean, I'm more excited to run the race than anything else, but there is part of me that thinks, man, I'd like to just watch parts of this too.
Especially the starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, the starts will be neat.
Because I think they were thinking there's going to be like over 100 buggies here tomorrow.
Woo!
That's a lot.
I wonder what percentage is going to be lights, 800s.
I'm hoping about 2.
2% or 2 the number? 2, okay.
Well, there's 100 coming. They're one and the same.
Yes.
One would be great. But no, I'm actually looking forward
Turn our
to
lap in and
quite
go
a
home.
few of them, so I can have some people to race with for a change.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you don't normally, you get to race with 1 or 2 other buggies.
Yes, it seems to be they're going away, but
And honestly, with the 1 or 2 buggies you're normally racing in the regional series, you're you're out there by yourself too. I mean, you're running away from them.
most of the time I set goals to try to catch the bigger machines in front of me. I mean,
So this one could be interesting to
Yes.
see if there's some competition there. But, you're going to get all types out here, I think, just like any other racing event.
Yeah.
So there may be some heavies even in our site. Some of the non-turbo machines might be able to pick a few of them off, too, which is always fun.
I'd like to see you put some of them to shame.
Now on this long stretch out here, I don't think I can, but
No, probably not. But
we may hit 60, maybe 63.
I'll be rocking back and forth. Come on, baby.
Faster.
Come on, baby.
Get out and push it faster.
No, I think things make a good day today or tomorrow. And honestly, I think you've made the right call.
Yeah.
Just not make a bunch of changes, not try and do anything crazy. The formula that's been working for you all
And I
season.
think the biggest difference is going to be racing in the dark
Yeah.
Yeah, because we start at 7 p.m. and run until
till
11.
And none of us have ever raced in the dark before.
No, that's true.
So that's going to be different.
I'm glad you got the extra light bar. I was a little concerned when you pulled up here and I just saw stock headlights.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that could be interesting.
A little late delivery, but it'll be on tomorrow.
Yep.
That's all that counts, man.
So
All right.
yeah, that's about all I got.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, well, thanks for stopping in and seeing us. We'll see you on the track tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be out in the track for 4 hours.
I think the waiting game all day tomorrow is going to be the most irritating part
it's
of
going to be
it.
terrible.
Yeah.
Because 7 o'clock's late to get started,
Yeah, I'm antsy now.
especially with no other racing to even watch.
Yeah.
So
It's definitely going to be a long day tomorrow waiting for that to happen.
I see a
but
bunch of naps.
I like that.
I don't nap well, so it's not going to work
You
for
don't
me.
sleep at all.
No,
That's the
I
problem.
So, all right.
Mike, man, good to see you.
All right.
We'll get her done tomorrow. See what happens,
We're going
buddy.
to get her done.
All right, man. Take it
If
easy.
we have to push it, we'll get her done.
Exactly.
All right.
We'll see you. All right, we're back, and we're here with Jason Bannon, who is still kind of sporting some injury there from a little run-in, shall we say, at the MWXC event last week.
Still a little tender.
a
It'll
little-
be fun to deal with tomorrow, but we'll figure it out as we go.
Kind of not try and beat it off the
Yeah,
door
hopefully I
and-
don't smack it on the door a couple times. That'll probably sting a little bit.
I always kind of wondered as you're racing, man, you're whipping the wheel around, and
yeah, we'll figure it out as it comes along.
if we be here like screaming from the track, we'll
Very
know what
possible.
happened.
Yeah.
So what you guys don't probably know what we're talking about if you haven't seen the video is he's the one who got speared by the general last weekend at the MWXC race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a whole different subject we're going to cover at a different date because we could talk about that for a long time tonight. But
Yeah.
we're more interested
There's a lot of subject matter there.
more interested in kind of your prep and what you did ready to get ready for this race. And
A lot of prep. All new wheel bearings, brakes. We had to put a new starter sprag in it. It was starting to kind of make some noises after Parker's, so we replaced that. We had that thing tore apart for probably like 3 weeks, just slowly chipping away at it. That's why I was in Willie's Razor at Parker's. We didn't quite have mine finished yet. Not Parker's,
Ghost Town.
Ghost Town. But yeah, we didn't have mine quite ready yet, and he had to work, so he let me borrow his buggy, and so I could try to stay in with some points. But we got it ready to go. It's here.
You got off the start line.
Yeah.
You made a corner. Almost made the second corner.
Yeah, so my goal today or tomorrow is to make it past the second corner. So
set your goals low enough, you'll always achieve.
Yeah.
There you go. So what you mentioned you were racing his razors. Try to say that 10 times fast. What's your normal machine? Which one did you bring here today?
It's a Can-Am Maverick 2013, non-turbo. It's one of Zach Sikowski's old machines. He was a GNCC guy. He switched to torque.
Yeah.
I bought it off of him. I was running a Razor before. Razor got totaled. Bought that machine off of him. It's been a year and a half ago, I think. So
okay.
Had some really good luck with it this year. I've kind of had some bad luck getting stuck in some oddball places and stuff. But
the 3-wheel drive, did that bite you?
I think it has in some places.
Yeah,
I really do.
I can see that.
A lot of people have come up to me, like, "Oh, your 4-wheel drive's not working." I'm like, "Go to the other side. That one's spinning."
It is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
there's good points for it when you're trail crawling and stuff like that. It does just fine. But when you really need it in the mud or something, you need that fourth wheel to turn. And
I
it just
completely
doesn't have
agree.
it. I mean,
but talking to Matt Lithgow, the ones that do have the quick engagement, where do get the 4-wheel, they struggle in like the high speed straights.
Yeah.
They'll want to engage and pull you around, and it's a little easier to control with mine. But then you get to the mud, it's a little harder, to get through. It's
there's give and take.
Yep.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think when Can-Am designed the Maverick, they really had the style of racing that they're being done with them now. That wasn't really their design goal when they built it.
Right. Yeah.
So
I agree.
It was kind of consistent, easy drivability, and that did fix the problem you're talking about in terms of trying to pull you left or right. It kept the average person from flipping it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
But yeah, this instance, probably full 4-wheel drive would have helped me a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that enduro section out there, if they don't clean that up a little bit, that you may want the full drive.
You guys can call me a chicken all they want. I plan on just running a steady, safe race, probably hitting the bypass, and comes down to another race. I'm still out there at 3-something hours. If I'm up there close to the top of my class, then maybe I'll start hitting, try to make up some ground.
I don't think that makes you a coward at all.
No.
I think it makes you a smart person who's trying to survive a 4-hour race.
Yeah. So that's your strategy, I guess, then, is you're just going to run the slow, steady race. You're not trying to get out there and run as fast as you possibly can.
I already plan on, if I don't get a good hole shot, I kind of just plan on checking up and letting the demolition derby happen in front of me and just try to survive.
Now, see, we had Mike Plank on before you, and he said the same thing. I'm just going to try and, slow and steady and keep it together and everything else. And I hear that from him a lot. And I hear things like, I'm not going to try that pro hill, and I'm not going to do this. The next thing I know, I get video of him, tumbling down the pro hill. So
yeah, once it's easy to talk about taking it easy until the green flag drops, and that can go out the window sometimes.
Exactly.
Been there many times myself, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to let everybody go in front of me. And no, my foot just went to the floor for some reason, and I couldn't stop it. That's the reaction for racers.
Yep. Want to push hard.
Yeah.
Anything special you did with your prep? Are you trying something new, or are you just trying? Did you just get it back to the kind of the formula you have that you've been having some success with?
We just got it back to a fresh machine. Obviously, put a bunch of lights on it, but I tried not to change too much. I made a couple of little suspension adjustments a couple races ago. I was pretty happy with them. I thought about adjusting with some more. My teammates Ryan and Willie kind of talked me out of it. Like, no, you know how it's going to handle. Just stick with it. Just kind of stick with the tried and true.
Yeah. I don't blame you. So you got a co-driver, or do you got 2 co-drivers for you?
I have a co-driver. We brought Ryan here, just kind of work pits. He just kind of wanted to help service everybody. Another friend of ours, Dakota, came with. They were going to swap out, but then Jason Hatcher had a Facebook post that he was looking for a co-pilot.
Yeah. So
I said, well, we got another guy coming with us. He's available if you need him. So he's going to hop in with Hatcher. So Willie plans on riding the whole 4 hours with me.
Yep.
That's a long haul as a passenger. I mean, I signed up for that with Plank, but he's talking about, well, you're probably going to end up driving, so at least it'll be a change of scenery. But
yeah. I feel better about driving for 4 hours than being a co-pilot for 4 hours, because when I'm driving, I'm not focused on getting beat and banged around. When you're a co-pilot, I don't know. I think it'd wear on you more.
I
it does.
fully agree. Yep.
Takes a special kind of person to be willing to do that. It's
Special
funny.
kind of stupid, maybe.
I've seen videos and I've seen interviews with people who are talking about, I puked in my helmet 4 times last year as a co-driver, and so I'm not going back this year.
I heard about that. We already talked about our diet for tomorrow, so
or lack thereof.
Well, that's the part I'm kind of worried about is we're talking about doing this kind of pitch-in meal before the race, and I'm thinking...
Well, I suggested I was going to bring some White Castle Crave cases for everybody.
That'd be
great.
great,
I wasn't going to eat any. Let everybody else eat.
I've got some 2-week-old sushi that I've been keeping at about 50 degrees in an ice chest,
I do like sushi. I mean, I'd try it. Got some soy sauce, I'm in.
It's kind of liquefied now. It's a little funny.
I think it's sushi. I can't really tell anymore, but it was at one point. No, we'll see how that goes. I'm going to have to make myself eat kind of a light.
Yeah, it'll be a light eating day.
Yeah,
sure.
we just brought kind of some turkey to make some lunch meat sandwiches and stuff, and just try to drink some water. I've got these waters that got just as much caffeine in them as a Monster, but they're supposed to be healthy still, so load up on a bunch of them. And
I got to be honest, that's the part I'm the most nervous about this whole race is just the starting time. It's not the machines, it's not the length of the race, it's just the idea of racing from 7 to 11, that it's just a weird slot. It's longer than you're used to, and you're racing into the well into the night.
Yeah, because this is my first time out here, so I've never raced at night. I mean, I've trail rode at night, blasting through the woods, but this is completely different. I mean, you guys know that. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited, though. I think it'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. Just being amped up all day, too. Like,
ready to go. Everybody's ready to go.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to walk the track and everything tonight to kind of get that all the way, so tomorrow I just have time just to kind of focus on getting my head ready to go. But they didn't have it marked up yet, so we have to walk it tomorrow. But I'm anxious. I'm giddy. So.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, I think you got a good shot at devastating the non-turbo 1000s out there. And
hopefully, if I can see the checkered, I usually end up placing pretty well. Just getting to the checkered is the better part of the battle.
Got a pretty good track record, so I think you'll be pretty healthy out there tomorrow.
Hopefully.
Yeah. All right, Jason, thanks for stopping by, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll check in with you after the race, and we'll see how that all went for you.
Hopefully, we have a good interview there. So
absolutely. All right, take it easy, man.
All right, you too.
You've got your own mic right there.
Crazy.
Hey, we're here with Devin Smith, or Little Cheney, as I guess he's become to be known in the past 5 minutes.
That's wrong. I'm older than he is. That's not even fair.
Papa Cheney?
Papa Cheney.
There you go. But that's still weird.
There's pretty much no way around that.
I know.
Well, Devin, man, good to have you here with us. You brought your X3 that's been just lights out for you this season and got a lot of hours in that thing.
It does now. It's got 15, 16 races on it so far this year.
And really not a lot of breakdown there. I mean, you had some bad luck out there at the last IXCR where the ball joint held up, but the knuckle didn't.
Yeah. I've been pretty lucky, actually. Had 2 failures in a row, and one was a freak. I had a rock get in the wheel and busted the wheel up on it. And then the next race at Attica, be Mission Impossible, it broke the spindle. Of course, I helped it out with the tree. So
details.
Little things like trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't ever get out of the way.
No, they're not jumping out of the way for you. But you got it back together, and, we're just going to believe you got your bad luck out of the way. And so you've seen some of the track now. We've been talking with some of the other drivers that it's not fully aeroed or anything like that, so we don't really know what you're getting into. But what's your thoughts for tomorrow, man? How do you tackle a 4-hour race versus a 60-minute race?
Well, I keep telling myself just race my race, but I'm a totally different person when I get in that car. And I looked at that challenge section, and I said, there's no way I'm going to go around this thing. There's no way. But you guys are going to see it tomorrow. I won't go around it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it is hard because, honestly, you're a pretty easygoing guy, easy to talk to, and, you get behind the wheel, and you're a definite competitor out there, so it's going to be hard to turn that off and, keep it, I got to hold this together for 4 hours. I can't blow it up in the first 60 minutes,
right.
Well,
I got to show these pros, that some of us,
the local guys can still beat them.
Still run with them.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I like your chances out there to make a splash and make an impact. Like, you've been placing well, throughout the season at the series you've been running, so doing some good racing out there, and I expect even more of that tomorrow. In fact, kind of bummed. I'm excited to be in the car with Plank tomorrow, but I'm kind of bummed I don't get to see you and a lot of some other racers out there I want to see, and I'm just going to have to find out afterwards how it went, or I can wave to you when you blow by us at 90 miles
or wave
an hour.
when you see me broke. One of the two. So
one of the two is going to happen now.
It's for sure.
So you said you're going to bypass probably, you think anyway, the
I say
challenge
that
section
sitting here right now.
right? But do you have an overall strategy? Are you planning on running at your normal pace? Are you planning on backing off a little bit for a few laps and get the feel of it, or? I know you said you completely change once the flag drops and everything. I get that, but
right now, sitting here, I can say that I want to get out in the top 5 of the start and just follow. But I know the top 5 guys are going to be all the pro guys.
Yeah,
and I'm not running a race pace that I do on an hour race. The first hour of the race, I just probably can't do that the whole race.
Yeah.
So. On the other hand, I almost want to let everybody, or most everybody, go and let the carnage happen and go around them.
Yeah.
And then just maybe run 80 to 90%. But I know as soon as the last hour comes, there may be no 100%.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It is kind of tough because you naturally want to save it, but like you said,
you may not have it at the end too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And you may need to get out in front a little bit at the beginning so that you can
get a time,
back down to that 80% and just finish the race
Right.
out. I'm not saying there's any great strategy and any perfect one to have, but just seeing what your plan is so far. And plans can go straight out the window.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Well, and I talked to Matt Rowell, who wasn't able to be here for this race, really wanted to be here, but kind of about some strategy because he's run, some big stuff, Baja 1000,
Right.
and, stuff where you can't blow up the car because a guy's got to jump in it after your shift and he's got to drive it and you can't just destroy it. But he kind of said the same thing. He's like, you really do want to get up towards the front and then just try and hang on up there. He said, you don't want to hang way back because you'll push too hard later.
Yep. He gave me some good pointers. He told me just to not get tangled up with anybody, let them go, and, just race my race. So,
yeah,
he just pretty much, he's a good guy, and he gave me some pretty good pointers on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, did you do any special buggy prep or anything? Did you try anything different, or again, just kind of what works and you just stuck with it, or?
Yeah, I pretty much just stick. And I changed my wheels around a little bit, my offsets, but not for this race, just for purposes of items getting rubbed on that wasn't supposed to be getting rubbed on. But it's probably going to bite me in the butt. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Find out tomorrow.
Yeah, no other strategies really. I just hope the car holds together.
You still running 27s on your tires all around?
27s.
Well, it's been working for you.
Yep, got the tire spines in there. Hopefully they keep the tires from getting destroyed.
You're one of the few guys still running 27s, really. I mean, a lot of guys are going to the 29s.
Right, and that's what that car came with.
Yeah.
So.
Well, with the extra horsepower now, and buggies are able to turn it. But, there's pluses and minuses to both. There's parts where the 27s definitely help you out. I mean, the 29s, if you're getting into a lot of mud and stuff, races like that, buys you some ground clearance and buys you some purchase in the mud. But it's dry as a bone out here. Not going to be an issue for you tomorrow.
No, that's for sure. And I always thought the smaller tire, you get a little better launch off the start or even off the corners, in the woods. And
they
stuff
kind of
like
kick
that.
up out of the corners a little bit more lively instead of sitting in there.
And I'm kind of a momentum guy. I've always tried to take momentum through the mud holes or over logs to where the height advantage for the 29s took, precedence over the 27s.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I always tried to hit them a little bit harder and smoother to where I knew, hey, you better get this thing over this because if not, you're done. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, co-driver wise tomorrow, you got a couple people lined up or just one guy?
Yeah,
or?
my girlfriend Courtney, she's going to ride with me, and then Lithgow, if need be, he's going to jump in there. So.
Okay, so you got somebody to tag out if need be.
And if they run out, if Michael crashes, you can come jump in there too.
Sweet. Yeah.
Mike's yelling from the
there's
side.
no
that he
hills
doesn't
big enough
cla-
here to
he
roll
doesn't
down, are
crash.
there?
Yeah.
No, it sounds like you got a good plan for tomorrow, and I like your chances to make it done out there. It's been a good machine. You're a heck of a
appreciate
driver,
it.
and I think it's going to go well for you tomorrow, man.
Yeah.
I gave these guys crap earlier. I just found out that I can run the 1,000 class if I want to.
Oh, really? You don't have to run pro row.
I don't. I can run 1,000 with a turbo car because I've only 925 cc.
That's pretty tempting.
And you should have seen the looks on their face when I said that.
Did they cry?
A little bit.
So, are you going to just surprise them? And
I might get some tape. What color is the plates for thousands?
I
You
don't
guys know? I'll go get some tape tonight and put it on there for in the morning as
there
a
you
joke.
go.
See what happens.
We'll find out tomorrow which row you pull into, right?
Right? Yeah.
Sweet.
But I don't know. I know I can run with a lot of these guys, the
Yeah.
pro guys, but I'm just not used to this kind of race. So
it's the 4-hour thing that it's a big variable that you can't really train for. You can't. Right. You just don't know until you do it.
Right.
One way or another, you're going to learn a lot tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Then there's always the next year.
Yep. And we went to the store the other night, and you should have seen me. I spent a half an hour in an aisle looking at bottled water, trying to hydrate. I'm just going to go wing it. So.
Yep.
Yeah. You'll figure out what works and what doesn't.
That's right.
Then next year, you're just that much stronger. So.
Yep.
Well, Devin, thanks for stopping by, man.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Looking forward to a good report tomorrow.
Yep.
I love your guys' show. You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Do what we can for a couple idiots who have some microphones. We make it work.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, Devin Smith.
All right, we're here with Jason Hatcher, who was going to be here and then wasn't going to be here, and now he's here.
Now you're here.
You're at the Heartland Challenge. You made it, man.
Yeah. Luckily, had a lot of things going wrong for me, and then a few things went right. We ended up making it.
That's
Nice,
a good
man.
thing.
So how's the buggy looking?
In pieces right now. We got a few parts to put on.
What's going on, man?
I was doing a clutch rebuild and didn't realize some bushings in there were bad. And was out on a clutch, and then Cody from CW Motorsports came through with a clutch to let me use and got me here, and hopefully we could put it to good use tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cody's a solid guy.
Oh,
He always
yeah,
wanted to
definitely.
jump in and help out.
Definitely. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here today.
So, well, hopefully, we got a whole camp full of people here, so between all of us, we'll put our heads together and make sure you get out there and running.
Yeah, there's got to be a couple parts laying around.
Yeah.
So, is this your first attempt at an endurance race like this, or?
No, actually, we ran last year in the 1000 class. I was still pretty fresh to razor racing myself.
Okay.
We ended up finishing 4th in 1000 and 11th overall, I believe.
Man,
So
had a
we,
good run out there.
We did fairly well. Our goal was just to finish, and we finished decent.
You're
Yeah.
the first kind of experienced rider we've talked to then. So what's the secret? Did you push as hard as you would in a normal race? Or
No,
did you
definitely not. It was just kind of just cruise, keep it in one piece. Just finish was the goal. Just finish.
How do you like kind of keep that urge to, oh, look, there's Kyle Chaney flying down the track. I'm not even going to try, you know?
Well, it was so dry out here last year, which is looking like it's going to be like that way this year. It was just so dusty you couldn't see enough to go fast, really. I mean,
Yeah.
That helps.
if you could see 50 foot in front of you, you were doing good last year. So as the night goes on, once you get headlights, the brighter the lights, the less you could see. So sometimes we were running with 0 lights just going by, like the people in front of us headlights, or even moonlight at times.
Yeah.
That makes sense, though. Well, I'm looking up in the sky, and there's only about a third of a moon, so...
Yeah, tonight wouldn't be good for it.
Yeah,
so.
we're
it's
not going to have much luck tomorrow.
Not going to be a whole lot of moon there to run off of. So your strategy, I guess you're going to go with kind of the same one. You're going to just run your own steady pace and go at it that way.
That's the plan. This one's definitely not it's not a drag race. It's definitely an endurance. So just keeping it together and aiming to finish is definitely going to be the key goal.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're going to be bypassing like the enduro section and stuff like that? Are you going to try
Actually,
and run
we
it? Or?
ran the challenge section every lap last year, except for
Really?
the first lap, only because it was so dusty we couldn't see where we were going, and we ended
Missed the
up on the
turn.
bypass. I was like, oh, okay. So, but no, I haven't looked at it yet. I can't say we're going to pass it or we're going to go through it, but if it's anything like it was last year, I think we'll do all right going
right.
through it.
Good deal. Well,
You got a co-driver that you don't know just hopping in with you, and so you guys are gonna get to know each other. I
It'll
guess.
really be an experience for him.
Yeah.
now is he co-drove in another UTV event, or is he completely green?
I do not know, actually.
You just met him for the first time a couple hours
He just shook
ago.
his hand like 5 minutes ago, and that's about as far as we got so far.
Did you say, do you know what you're getting into here? No.
My only advice so far was don't throw up in the helmet because it's a pumper helmet, and we got dust skirts, so it's not going anywhere but here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be brutal.
Yeah.
Light dinner for you.
Yeah.
No, that should be. It's an interesting dynamic between a co-driver and a driver, especially when you're going to spend a little bit of time feeling each other out. And as a driver, do you prefer somebody who's pretty vocal about pointing stuff out, or you just want them to shut up and hang on? They're just I
I definitely appreciate the direction. I'm good either way, but I focus a lot on just most races when we're in a little bit faster pace, I focus on trying not to hit anything, and he focuses on where we should be going. But
because you're looking 20 feet down the track, he's looking 200. You know, he's trying to keep you.
So having a little direction there, a little guidance definitely helps out. But we could do it without it.
Yeah. So hopefully we're going to improve on last year. Maybe we'll get you up in the top 3 and on the podium for your class.
I would definitely like the podium.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
At least in the top 10 overall would be great also. There's one spot out of that and one spot off the podium. So
there's a pretty decent payout, too, for doing well in this one, isn't there?
The 1,000 class, which I'm running, I believe, I don't know if it's the same as last year, but last year I want to say it was 2,000 to win.
Man.
The 1,000 class, and then the open class was like 3,000 to win.
Yeah.
So
it's a decent payout.
It's a good payout.
That's not bad. That's approaching what it would cost you to actually run.
Yeah,
I finished.
You nearly break even on this one.
I finished 4th, and we took home a $300 payout. So I got my money on entry back, and got some nice hardware to take home. So
you had fun and got some experience too.
Oh yeah,
so.
it was a blast.
Lifetime, once in a lifetime. Well, not once in a lifetime because you can do it year after year. But it's a bucket list thing. A lot of people don't get to do when you come out and you get to run an endurance race.
Yeah.
So.
Well, man, good luck out there tomorrow. We'll check in. If I could talk, check in with you after the race and see how things went for you. And hopefully, I know this season's been a little rough on you with DNFs and just the machine not holding together. But
we actually haven't finished a race yet.
That's rough. Thanks, Doug.
We've been there.
Yeah, I've been there myself.
We totally understand.
We got a lot of luck last season, and it wore off over the winter, I think, and we've just been plagued with different minor problems, and hopefully we got a lot of them worked out.
We're believing for some better luck for you tomorrow, man.
Yep.
We'll make this your race. Well, Jason, we'll check in with you later, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
All right, good luck.
Yep, take care.
We're here with number 111, Steve Mueller.
Yeah, I'm always 6th place. I don't know why I'm running 111.
Because if you put 666, you're the devil.
All right, works for me. What's going on, guys?
Not much, man.
Nothing.
You're ready for this. You've had a kind of a bum luck this season with belts not behaving and clutching issues, and it seems like you've got a lot of that put to bed.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I've been back and forth and changing and trying things, and instead of just sticking with something and trying to make it better, I've just went the opposite direction and tried something. It has not worked.
Yeah, you've had some clutching woes and just throwing money after it, trying to fix it, and then but now you finally got it. I mean,
well, after that $600 clutch one race, I think I got it. So, you guys have talked about it on the podcast. This is race 5 in a row.
What's the 6th race after this? Because you got 6 in a row, right?
It's not happening now. The Illinois Midwest side-by-side race.
Oh yeah, that one got canceled.
Oh,
they canceled just the other day. It was like, sigh of relief.
You're kind of glad, huh?
Yeah.
Normally racers aren't glad when things get canceled, but all of a sudden it's like, I'll take this one.
Yeah, and I think Devin and a couple of other guys. I think Devin's first in points. I'm second. Sigh of relief for sure, especially coming out of the Heartland. So.
Yeah, and if you break something, you don't have much time to get anything sorted out. And it's just to that time, especially in the season when you're trying to get things prepared and the machine back together and maintaining it for the next round.
I think there's 3 side-by-side races left for MWXC.
I believe that's right.
Sounds right.
We got a little bit of a break for side-by-sides. I know IXCR had a very long break, but now they're back. But MWXC, we get a little bit of a break here the next, I think, 1 or 2 races. So I think there's only 3 side-by-side races left for MWXC. So coming out of Heartland, it's going to be a very deserved break. So,
and as of the last race, you're trailing Matt Hecker by a point?
Yeah. So you got race number 4 did not go very well. I don't know if you guys will talk about it or not, but
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, it 2 laps to go did not go very well, but
and no fault of your own. I mean, it was just a parts failure.
It
just
was
a freak
break. It really was. I had all my parts and everything. I've got an amazing dealer. I can neither confirm nor deny these came off a brand new machine on the showroom floor. But amazing dealer that will go out of the way to help me out and keep me making races. And I had I broke Saturday night at the race. I had the machine back on all fours and out making test passes Monday night. So
man,
you can't ask for better than that.
No, that's
not
incredible.
At all. I mean, if you have to order parts, I mean, we were talking today.
Yeah.
Would have been, Thursday would have been.
And you're hoping you don't find anything else wrong at that point, because then that puts you out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why we kind of try and stress, if you've got a good local dealer,
support them.
Support them. Because you know what? You might spend a couple extra bucks, but you're not going to get that from some dude on Amazon or eBay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you paid the extensive amount of money to overnight it, it's
just
crazy.
not. You're not going to get it still.
Yeah.
So you've been out here before. This is not your first Heartland Challenge.
This is my third year. My first year 2 years ago did not go well. You guys talk about it all the time on the podcast. I built the entire car. This was my first XC race, was the Heartland Challenge.
Well, you jumped in feet first, didn't you? Into the deep end.
That's seriously hardcore.
2016 Razor XP Turbo. I did everything I possibly could to prepare for this, just from my own knowledge of being around Razors and, as best I could. Came out here and on lap 2 folded the A arms and was done on lap 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And in your head, I know the thought process. You're like, I've done all this prep. I know I'm a pretty solid driver. Like this should go fine. This should be fine.
Should.
And then it doesn't. You're left wondering. You're replaying it over and over in your head. And
I became the statistic of the Heartland Challenge. Yep. But no, last year was my second time here. Same car. But I had done a full season of racing at MWXC, or pretty much almost a full season coming into the Heartland Challenge last year. And I finished 6th place in open class last year. Here at the Heartland Challenge, which was, I'll take that all day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All day. I mean, I'm watching Kyle Chaney do laps around me, and I'm like, I have no idea where I'm at. But 6th place, and like I said, I'll take that all day long for a 4-hour long endurance race like this. Coming out of it. So.
And I think your normal driving style actually kind of caters to a race like this. You're a little more conservative than some of the other drivers out there, but you finish consistently because of that.
That means more to me than anything is finishing. By all means, I'd love to be on the podium for sure. Who wouldn't? But I would much rather finish and have that plaque on the wall of a race like this. Than being on the podium. It really does mean a lot to me. And you guys have talked about it on the podcast. I came from a military background in aviation, and I'm still here, so I didn't crash.
Yeah.
So a lot of that has bled over to racing and that frame of mindset. If it even looks remotely sketchy or bad, I replace it or take care of the problem.
Right.
And it's worked out well. It really has.
And a lot of that, I think, not just military aviation, but specifically helicopters.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there's nothing keeping you up except for that blade pushing air down.
Well,
so there's no gliding.
It's a machine that's trying to tear itself apart in flight. It's not gliding like your typical, airplane. It's a machine literally trying to tear itself apart by nature in flight.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
if it looks like you said, if it looks sketchy at all, you better, replace every single part and
Put
all the
duct
parts
tape on it.
downstream. And
Duct tape, 100-mile-an-hour tape is what the military calls it.
And
Official military term.
You guys use the camo duct tape, though, right?
It depends on what the supply guy's done for the
Gotcha.
day.
Okay.
I mean, it may be camo, it may be black. Yeah.
Okay.
So any words of wisdom for the inexperienced? We got quite a few people out here who are, running for their first time.
I've told a lot of the guys we were kind of looking at the track a little bit earlier, showing Devin and a couple of the other guys a little bit of some of the tougher sections, the challenge section, sponsored by RT Pro. It's the worst part of the track, and my wisdom to those guys is you got to bring it back. You got to bring it back. I've said it before. I've done a couple of videos. I think you guys have copies of. This is 4 races, normal races to us in one night.
Yeah.
And night. It's not a day race. You're going to start during daylight and end at 11 p.m. at night under the lights.
Yeah.
And so far, I saw some lightning coming in. It's going to be, at this point right now, it's going to be a dust bowl of a race.
Yeah.
And the lights are going to be a big problem. And a lot of guys aren't used to that. And a lot of guys don't even have lights on their buggies. So it's a learning curve very quick. And the best advice I can give is be Steve Mueller. You can come back a little bit on the gas pedal. The other challenge, too, that a lot of people are not real used to, at least in side-by-sides, bikes and quads are very used to refueling for their races.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Refueling for a side-by-side, that's a whole different gamut that we generally don't have to deal with, you know, in a 1 hour XC race. So even learning that, what's the fastest method, what's the fastest gas can?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the dirt bike and quad guys, they've got that figured out. You know, their dry brake systems and stuff like that. So even that is a huge make or break for time coming into a race like this, the Heartland Challenge.
Yep.
Well, in a trek like this where you're, more wide open, it's a 9-mile trek, 9+ mile trek, and a lot of it is, fairly quick.
Yeah,
you can go through the better part of a tank in an hour.
Easy. Yeah.
Especially in a turbo.
Exactly. I know Devin, I think 1 or 2 races this year, he had, Chad too, and Barry Miller.
With Barry Miller and I, our fuel light came on.
Yeah.
At
in 1
Crazy
hour.
Man's Hideaway. We were questioning if we were going to make it, if we needed to stop and take a splash of fuel.
Yep.
We risked it, and we made it just fine. That wasn't the problem. But it's getting to be a real concern. After 1 hour, you've already burned through all your tank's fuel.
Yep.
So
and you also get tunnel vision out here, too. I'm really bad at tunnel vision. And Chad experienced it with Barry. I may never even see the low fuel light flashing. So
I watched it.
Really.
I watched it come off and on for 3 laps, and I was watching it, and it was never solid on, so I didn't raise awareness. And all of a sudden, Barry looks down and goes, "The fuel light's on. It's been on for 3 laps, Barry.
Just keep
We're
going.
okay. Just keep going."
It's definitely something you got to be mindful of, especially if you end up 6.5 miles out, you know, on the track. I mean, you could make the trek back to camp, I guess, for some fuel, but
that's a long walk.
It is.
It's a very long walk.
Yeah.
So I'm riding with Steve. We've made this statement. So what is your strategy?
I'm going to start off. To me, it's really not going to be any different than any other race. Leading up to the Heartland Challenge, I've done nothing different. I've changed nothing. I really haven't. I haven't even put a light on the car. The light's been on the car since day one.
Well, and you've finally gotten it kind of to where you want it.
Yeah. Basically got the clutching where it needs to be to survive.
Yeah.
It's by all means not perfect, but it's survivable now.
The belts are 180 instead of 280.
Exactly. Well, one belt was 321.
Woo!
And a lot of people don't know this. The supposedly the XP turbos this is coming from the desert. The West Coast guys can run at 250 degrees all day long. I had stock clutches in my car for one race and peaked out at 321 degrees, but I finished.
Yeah.
I put it in low and finished the race. That's my thing. Is I want to finish. That means a lot to me. So, but now I think Chad talked about it on the last podcast. The IXCR race, we were 188.
184
average.
was our average.
Yeah, average 202 peak.
Yep.
The last race last weekend, we peaked out at 202. So
similar.
I'll take that all day long. I had to obviously fix some stuff after the last race last weekend, but other than that, no changes. We're here. That's the strategy. I will say what I think I'm going to do is I'll start the race. I'll put a full tank through. That should hopefully get us to about the 2 hour mark, and then Chad's driving.
Okay.
Whether he knows it or realizes it or not,
That's fine.
Chad will be driving.
I'll slide over and take the wheel.
The
Never driven your
car.
buggy. Whatever.
So I've
never driven planks, so we're both in for for a treat tomorrow.
I will say, take it easy.
I will.
I know.
For at least the first 50 feet, I promise.
we got to finish, but my strategy is I know how fast of a driver you are compared to me, and where we need to push in that back half. I think you'll push, but I think you'll also have the reins to be able to rein it back to say we've got to finish too.
Yeah, I was talking to Doug about this, and he said, how fast are you planning on driving? And I said, I don't plan on driving all that hard until I know that there's spots I can drive hard, because we have to finish. That's number one, and you have to keep racing this machine the rest of the season.
True story.
So I'm just not looking to blow it up or take it out of anything. So I understand the whole spread of it. So.
Yeah. My whole thought was the Mike Tyson quote, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And that's
exactly what I'm sure a lap 1 tomorrow we'll be in the pits fixing something that I missed or forgot or whatever. So
I think we'll do just fine. I mean, I like our chances of going into it.
I think so too. And honestly, I know you well enough that you are an aggressive driver and you like to push, but you do have your head about you. I mean, you don't just lose your head out there, and you understand the stakes of this race. And you tend to treat your own equipment different than other people's in terms of you will blow your own stuff up, but you will take a step back with other people's.
Yeah,
so
I do.
I think you'll be a good team for each other. And
what's your strategy, Doug?
Stay out of the trees.
Well, fortunately, I know you haven't seen the track yet. It's pretty wide.
Yeah.
So it's...
And you're running in a little razor that's pretty narrow.
Yeah, I'm honestly not really worried about it. And I was joking around earlier. My driving is better than my record would suggest, but I'm going to take it easy the first lap for sure until I get a feel for the buggy, because I have never driven it before. And it's an 800, so it's not particularly fast. I'm not afraid to whip one, through the trees and that kind of stuff, but I definitely going to take it easy till I get a feel for it. And Plank said, imagine you're driving a 74 Ford pickup truck. Everything's a little loose. The brakes are a little, they're not perfect. The steering's a little loose. He said everything squeaks. He goes, if you go into that mentality, you'll be okay driving this thing.
That is very true. Yeah. That is very good advice.
And so his machine's fairly stock too. Like he doesn't even have a steering quickener in it.
I think stock axles.
Yeah.
I mean.
And so it's nothing I'm not familiar with from, driving other kinds of machines that are similar. So I'm not too worried about it, but I'm definitely going to, I think what I told him was I'm probably going to try and pace somebody in our class and just hold a spot. Like I don't have any intentions on trying to make up time or pass. I mean, if somebody's going really slow, I'll pass them.
You've got 4 hours to make it up. Yeah.
I'm just going to, he's a faster, more skilled driver than I am, and I know that. So I'm just going to try and hold on to what we've got. And even if I lose a little bit of time, as long as I keep the buggy together, I'm calling that a win.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that I got $20. I've got $20 in my pocket right now that says you podium with Plank tomorrow night.
That would be pretty sweet.
I would bet that's probably a good bet.
I'm going to say you guys are going to be on the podium tomorrow night in that 800.
Is that 20? Mike's asking if that's 20 apiece. Well, if we don't podium, we'll at least get 40 bucks out of the
money.
deal.
I had to get mine ready. I mean,
the only thing the Razor sucks faster than fuel is cash.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
For sure.
Expensive hobbies.
Yes, it is.
Well, that's been, I don't want to say a problem child, but it's caused its share of issues, but you definitely have it all sorted out, and I really think you're going to have a good time tomorrow. I think it's going to hold together well for you. You've got your issues sorted out.
I hope so.
Except for the one in the passenger seat.
You asked. You asked for that.
It's that big tool that I'm bringing.
Yeah. I said I can disassemble things. All I need is a tree, and those A-arms pop right off.
You asked for that one, so that's on you.
I don't know. I'm hoping for the best. I don't care if we finish 20th.
As long as you finish.
I want to
absolutely.
Finish. Yep.
Well, we'll talk to you tomorrow after the whole shebang and see how things go. We might just try and get a big group here and get everybody in there all yelling at the same time incoherently, and we'll see what happens.
Everybody's standing here holding their plaques.
Exactly.
That's what we did last year.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Heck yeah. We'll check in with you tomorrow, but
thanks,
in the meantime, man, thanks for stopping by and chatting with us for a little bit.
Good luck.
Always a pleasure to have you. $20, baby.
$20 is $20.
Yeah, we'll just leave that there.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll
Thanks.
check you later. Well, the sunlight has completely gone down.
Yep.
There's dulcet sounds of side-by-sides and quads moving around, and we're here with Cody.
How's it going,
Once
guys?
again, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks a
Last
lot.
time you sat in front of the trailer and recorded one, you were down with Travis Pastrana down
Brimstone.
about Brimstone,
Yes.
and now you're here at the Heartland Challenge.
Yeah, that was awesome. The Brimstone event was really, really cool, but this is super happy to be here. So
Absolutely, man. So tell us about the buggy. How's it been treating you this year, and what have you done to get ready for this?
Well, actually, the buggy's my wife's.
She's letting you borrow it.
Yeah, it's a borrow ride anyway. Yeah.
I'll have to put a picture in right about here, but that thing is pink. And when I say pink, I don't mean like, oh, it's got a little splash of pink. I mean, it is.
It's not salmon.
pink.
It's pink.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
it's hard to miss out there.
So if anyone knows, I do the Midwest Side-by-Side series with
Yeah.
Josh Durbin, and with that series, I realized that I couldn't race. And I don't feel like I should be a promoter and a racer, so I stepped back to let others race, and but I love it. My wife's a go-getter. She's like, well, I'll drive one. Build one for me. So we're going to build them. We're going to build it pink. We're going to make it stand out. We're going to make everybody know it's a chick car. So, and that's what it is. So I did a lot of changing this week to convert it over from her to me. The seat that was in it was like a lift kit. It set real high off the ground because she could barely see the steering wheel.
I was going to say, because you guys are about easily a foot different in height. So
Changed some stuff up there. Changed a little bit of steering wheel too. The steering wheel was really, really close for her, and I got that switched around. But it's done good. This is her first year driving. She's done really good. I think she's third in points, so
Nice.
pretty solid.
That's solid for first year.
Exactly. She does a good job of finishing. My finishing rate is not so much. I kind of got the bonsai go out
Yeah.
and give her heck, but we changed a lot on the car. We put a lot of new parts on it to come out here because it is a 4-hour race and beat on them hard. So
Yeah.
So you're telling me this is somewhat untested. By a lot of new parts, have you made modifications or changes?
just
or
new wheel bearings, brake pads, ball
Just
joints,
replacement
all this
maintenance.
suspension
Okay,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah, none of it was bad, and that's the guys at the shop like, what are we doing changing this stuff? Well, boys,
We're going to a 4-hour endurance
exactly.
race.
Yeah.
It's not bad now. It could be in a few minutes.
Yeah.
So last year, I don't know if you guys even know this or not. Last year, this race was about. I did not have a buggy. We built a race buggy out of used parts in 10 days.
Yeah.
So
nice.
a full build in 10 days. There's some YouTube
So
videos.
you
on
basically roadkilled it.
Exactly. Took it out here completely untested at all. Like I rode it one time around like the pasture in my yard the night before I loaded it up. Everything seemed to be okay. We come here last year knowing we had an overheating issue, didn't know exactly what it was, thought it was the radiator, switched the radiator while we were here, still wasn't the radiator, ended up being a plane bearing and the engine was spinning.
Oh.
So we made a
That'll
one
do
lap,
it.
blew the engine up. So we're coming back this year with hopefully more than one lap.
Yeah. It shouldn't be
That'd
too
be-
hard to
that'd be good.
improve on that.
Exactly. Should not be too difficult. My employees also came last year. They built an 800 and they did real well. They were running third or fourth in the 800 class, and they made it all but to about 16 minutes till the end and hit a tree and lost the.
Oh, dude,
front
that's a
wheel and-
heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah, that's
cow.
rough.
So
I mean, it's not like mechanically let go, and you can just be like, okay, things happen at that point.
exactly.
But yeah, when you clip a tree and you tear the front end or something off, it's like, oh, I just should have slowed down a little more, and you're kicking yourself.
Yep.
But it
like-
happens.
Like
I
I
mean-
say, but I'm excited. I've drove the car twice this whole year. I drove it once at KZ at one of our races, and I drove it once in our backyard at a little racetrack we have. Rolled it then, pretty violent rollover. They
In your
always
backyard,
say,
no less.
They always say like that's when you're the most comfortable. Like when you're on trails. A big storm had came through, blew down a huge tree, and we didn't see it, and hit it and rolled end over end.
Oh.
Full revolutions.
That's rough.
Yeah, so it'll be fun.
How'd that back half cage hold up there?
It was, it was a full cage built by Spangler.
Oh, okay.
So,
This is Spanx. Well, then we know
Spanx
it was
cage.
good.
It was good. Yes, absolutely.
But you've got a back half on this. One of your back halves on this one, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
on my personal on my trail rig, I do
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So those are going awesome. Great product.
Well,
Yeah.
we love the one we've got on ours, man.
That's
I mean, if nothing else, it improves the look of the stock razor
Oh.
by about 110%. I mean,
Yes, it definitely
Well,
does that.
I've said it before, and it's one of those things that even if you're not going to race, I don't care. You should definitely pick up one of those. It's extremely cheap for the safety you buy with that, the looks you buy with it, and everything else. It's just you should definitely do that. I mean,
it's it's double the thickness of a factory. It's nearly double the thickness of the factory cage. Last weekend, funny you say that, we were riding out in Missouri, and a buddy was having a little bit too much fun in the grass field, and it completely upside down on his roof. And I was like, that's got one of my cages on. I'm dying to see how it did, and it completely flawlessly. I mean, no structure damage whatsoever.
I have no hesitation. I don't want to roll mine over, but if I do,
I'll do it.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not concerned about it at all. I'm convinced that it's strengthened it plenty, that it's definitely safe for trail riding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what's the strategy for tomorrow then?
So that's a funny question because it's been a hot topic. What do you do? I don't want to be dusted out. I don't want to be buried in the dust. The car is a big horsepower car, so it's capable of being out front early on in. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for a start, get out front, push hard early, and then hopefully after that we can kind of settle in and run a nice pace. So
I really think that's going to be a solid strategy. I completely agree with you.
The other option is you sit back, you wait, you get in the dust, you got to go through all the tangle ups, so on and so forth. I'd much rather bump and bang in the first couple corners and get through it and try to get out in front and then settle down and run a pace from there. So
yeah, that's a solid strategy. I mean, it's got, like you said, you get out front, and then it's easy to run out front because you're not being dusted out. You have good, clear vision normally once you're out there, and you're not stuck behind someone who's rolled it in a corner where you can't get around or anything like that. I mean, and now everyone behind you is just losing those minutes.
Exactly.
And you're not stuck behind somebody who's just throwing up dust where you can't see what's going on.
And then you get buried and you get caught up, and then the guys that can run your pace out front are already gone, and it's hard to close that gap when you're nearly running the same lap times. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get out front early with no crazy confusion in the first couple corners. As long as we can get through that, I think it'll be okay. If not, hey, we came here to race and have fun. We'll sit back and watch everybody else.
Yeah.
So who's co-driving with you?
Josh Durbin is. If he can make it through the whole deal. If not, Cam Mapes, which races with us on the Midwest Side by Side Series, he's gonna ride if Josh can't do it all. So
your other half's not co-driving with you, huh?
No.
I was wondering if we could do kind of a role reversal there, where she's normally racing and driving.
I have never rode with her. I've never rode with her in a race.
You don't want to test that out here, huh?
Probably a good thing because I'm super competitive and she's more. She's a finisher. She's a Steve. Steve's a finisher. I've always said that. Steve is very consistent and very good, and he always finishes. And that's kind of where she's at too. And I'm more like go kind of guy. And
so it really shouldn't put you two in a buggy together.
We'd probably trash it in a hurry. It'd be fun.
We'd have the most fun in the shortest amount of time ever.
We'd have a great video, I'm sure.
Yes.
We would have fun. We will actually, last weekend I wanted to do that. I asked Chad if he would ride. Had some weekends mixed up on scheduling and wasn't able to make it work out, but it had a little bit of a car issue. The negative battery cable, I guess at one point I caught it on fire. It was burnt from the battery all the way deep into the wiring harness. So
biting tongue, hilarious fire.
Don't talk about that.
Okay.
Don't talk about that.
So, I don't know. I kind of blame it the way the kill switch was wired. I think that was some of the issue, and I changed that up a little bit. So hopefully that solves that problem.
I got you.
Yep.
Well, no, it should be a solid strategy for you tomorrow, especially like you said, because you're pushing the big horsepower. I'm curious to see how that works out because we've talked to quite a few other drivers so far this evening, and they're all
wanting to lay back.
They've got a little bit different take on it. You're the first one that said, I'm going to push up to the front, and so I'm kind of curious.
Yeah,
I think Devin Smith is going to...
I think he'll jump for the front, too.
No, he will, too, for sure. Devin, I know Devin. Devin doesn't like dust, just like I don't like dust, so I think he's going to have the same mindset. If I can get in front of the dust, I'll be the dust for everybody else, and that's kind of my hope. If you can get up there, the top 2 or 3 guys, and make a run for it, I think it'll be good. But you get buried back 10, 15 deep, it's gonna be nasty.
Yeah.
I think you two will be up there, duking it out up there. So it should be interesting to see. So what you mentioned, like you said, it's a big horsepower car. So what kind of mods do you have from stock on that one?
That's all. It's a bone stock machine. No, I'm not afraid to talk about it at all. That's what we do. We build remanufactured engines and transmissions and differentials. So horsepower is what I love. It's the thing. So it's a non-turbo Razor 1000 base started. Is stock bore. It is stock stroke. Lots of head work done. big cams, program, obviously, things like that, and then obviously clutching besides. But the car is very torquey, very torquey. It's 100 foot, very, very fast. I would put it next to a turbo all day long for the first 100 foot. Yeah. After that, obviously, the turbo is going to come around. But for the trails and the tight woods, it's great. This long straight section right here, I'll be on rev limiter coming through here for sure. But, you just got to drive down from that. We built the car to build power down low.
Yeah.
What kind of power do you have an estimate where you think you are?
I have no idea. When I was big into the ATV racing, I actually had a dyno. Since sold it, regret it every day that I'm back in the side.
I was going to say that's the kind of tool everybody wants in their garage.
Yeah. We were racing ATVs. I was building big horsepower for them. I had a dyno. We got out of racing ATVs for probably about 2 years, and the dyno set. The dyno's an expensive tool.
It's a lot of money sitting there.
Money for it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. A couple years later, now we're deep in the side-by-side game, and I don't have a dyno. I would love to have it back.
Yeah. That would be nice.
But... no.
So you did mention that you run the Midwest Side-by-Side Series. How's that going for you guys this year?
It's going great. It's been good. The car count has been good. You always hope for more. I think we're still learning. We're still growing. I think we're one of the only series that's paying back money at the end for the end winner of the points championship. We've had a little bit of points discrepancy because of that, but again, we're learning too. This is all new to us, and we're going to get that lined out and improve from there. So
sure,
yep. So you guys have a big plan. Lots of growth planned for next year. You adding new tracks? What do you?
Well, so GNCC is supposedly going to be done racing UTVs.
We've heard rumors.
From what I heard from Chad and Doug, anyway, from the podcast, which I was so excited to listen to the last one because I wanted to hear I was hoping I was going to get some insight on it, and I really appreciate what you said. But we're in next year for sure. Words Banquet's coming up in a couple months. We got a few more races to go before then. I think we'll have some sponsor step ups on top of what we already have this year. Hope to maybe put a little bit more races on the schedule for next year, and then kind of dial it out, make it more of a more professional, setup series.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are a young series. There's growing to do, and that, and it's good to hear you say that. You know that there's things that need to change and how you work things. Because the problem is a lot of series, they'll get going, and it's like, no, this is how we are. Yeah. And, there's no movement then.
Yeah, exactly. Me and Nathan Wolf had an hour-long conversation this week, and I was all ears. I'm a racer. I'm not much of a promoter. I did the promoting because I want a place for other people to race, and there wasn't one. Josh was struggling, so I stepped in to help out, and I don't regret it at all. I absolutely love it. I have just as much fun watching as I do racing, and I really mean that. And that's one thing me and Nathan talked about for quite some time is some things that he likes about other series and dislikes about other series, likes about our series, and and just try to, as a whole, put together a solid program that makes where people want to come race with us week in and week out. And they want to tell their buddies to come race with us. I raced an IXCR early on in. It was very, very, very tight. Almost to the point that I didn't find it that enjoyable. Our tracks are a little bit wider, not so tied up, and we can do a little bit more racing.
Yeah,
where you're racing other buggies instead of just trying to squeeze through trees.
You're exactly right. I'm a motocross guy, so I love the motocross atmosphere, jumps, the things like that, and I think there's going to be more of that integrated into next year.
That's good. I'm looking forward to seeing stuff like that because really locally around here, we don't have much of that for the side-by-sides.
No, it's pretty much all XC.
Yeah.
Like pure XC.
Yeah.
62.5-inch wide trails.
Squeezing through a 59-inch opening.
And I raced the one at Badlands, and it was great program, great ram, but it was tight. I couldn't believe how tight it was. I'm like, holy cow, where did you just tiptoeing through trees and boom, 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 and
it gives you an appreciation for the really skilled drivers that they're threading the needle at speed, and they do. They make it look deceptively easy. Yes. Then you go out there and try and do it, and you ball it up in 30 seconds. And
yeah. Devin Smith is an animal. I seen him go through some tight places. With me running the series, I'd be out in the woods watching, and I'm just like, holy cow!
How did you do that?
Go through there, and Plank is right there with him too. He will thread the needle anywhere. Just zoom, zoom, zoom.
Yeah.
Michael's got a little bit of an advantage. He's in a much smaller car.
Yeah.
I'm begging him to upgrade next year to.
I think he's seriously considering it.
He's wringing the neck out of that 800. I mean, he's getting getting every last drop you can get out of an 800, and there's just not enough car there for him. So I think he's going to have to do something.
He is a phenomenal driver, and he drives the absolute wheels off. And one of the things that advantages him so much is he has a lot of seat time in that car. He has a lot. He knows how it's going to handle, how it's going to react. He knows when it's muddy how it feels, when it's hard how it feels, and that's great and good for him. And that is one of the reasons he can finish the way he does.
Yeah.
I really think you'll see Michael do very, very well out here tomorrow. I really do think so.
I am a firm believer. I think the same thing. He's going to do really well out here. He just keeps it together. He drives good, straight, fast, and he knows when to push and he knows when to not push.
Yep.
So.
And I will ride his glory all the way to the podium.
You're riding passenger, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep, I'm co-driving, and I'm
Awesome.
probably going to be doing some of the driving tomorrow. And my goal is just to keep it together until he feels like he can drive again.
Yeah.
Well, we've got some weather moving in here. We're recording outside under a canopy, but there's thunder and lightning and a cool breeze coming in, so we probably better wrap this up before we get poured on. But
I gotta go fix my jack on my camper yet.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had a little bit of an incident there where you got the fifth wheel there, and only one side was jacking up, and the other one was not.
Twisted and crazy stuff, but that's how it goes. That's There's
things we do for fun.
Exactly right. There's small houses towing down the road. You talk about the cost of the razor. That's only the initial cost, and then you got everything else besides.
It costs a lot to get the razor there. Yeah, exactly.
But no, I want to thank you guys for doing what you're doing. You guys do awesome. I really, really enjoy listening to you.
Thank you.
I love it. So you guys do a great job.
Well, we appreciate you standing behind the podcast and being a sponsor this year. And you've helped us out quite a bit, and you're spreading the word. And that's all we can ask for.
That's great.
Cody?
Yep.
Good luck tomorrow, man.
Thank you very much.
We'll check you out and see how life treated you after the race tomorrow.
Chad, I got one question.
Yeah.
So how much better is the Pro Armor harnesses over the Click 6?
Oh, I love them. I wouldn't put those Click 6s back in at all.
I tried to convince him at Brimstone not to do that.
I know.
I've learned from one thing is sometimes you just got to let them make their own
a
decision.
mistake. It was a mistake.
And what was funny is I actually had quite a few harnesses, and I had Dragonfires in stock, and I think you went with the Pro Armors, correct? Yeah. And I almost said the week he texted me, I said, "Hey, Chad, I got a whole bunch of Dragonfire harnesses. I'll make you a killer deal on a set." And you're like, "Oh, I bought some Click 6s." So.
If you would have messaged me, I probably would have jumped, but whatever.
Well, we're about to get rained on, so hey, thanks a lot, guys.
All right,
catch you later.
Thanks.
Tired of going down, tired of myself, tired of this town.